So in the brand new polls this morning, you've got Donald Trump maintaining a firm grip on his front-runner status. He is at 27% in the brand new Quinnipiac national poll. Ben Carson, who virtually tied with Trump last month in this same poll, has slid down to third place behind Marco Rubio. The assistant director of this poll saying in a statement, it doesn't seem to matter what he says or who he offends. Donald Trump seems to be wearing Kevlar. Dr. Ben Carson now needs some CPR. The doctor sinks, the Donald soars. The GOP, 11 months from election, has to be thinking, this could be the guy. So what do you make of it? Joe Truppi, former campaign manager for Howard Dean, joins us now. Joe, good to have you with us today. So, first of all, your response to that. Do you agree with that writer of the Quinnipiac poll?
Well, I definitely think that Ben Carson has been damaged a lot by the rise of, by Paris, by foreign policy, by ISIS, by sort of his demeanor and his answers to a lot of foreign policy questions. I think he's losing steam there, and that's clearly hurt him. The events of the last few weeks and his answers have hurt him. I thought he did a good job going to Jordan. I thought that was a very important step for him to try to shore himself up. I think it may be too little too late, though. But no, look, Trump is, I've said from the beginning, do not underestimate him. I think all the people who have made a grave mistake in doing that. But also now, it looks to me like Cruz and Rubio both, but Cruz in particular is the one to watch in Iowa, I think.
Let's take a look at some of these other polls that just came out this morning, because it's always interesting to dig into them and see what people are thinking and what makes them lean towards some of these candidates. Voters who say strong leadership is the most important thing. I mean, if there's one thing you can say about Donald Trump, it's that when he goes out there, he is strong. He has strong convictions, whether you agree with them or disagree with them. He holds them firmly. He's at 30% in that number. Ted Cruz, as you point out, has been showing strength in a number of these factors that we see in the polls lately. He's at 20. Marco Rubio is at 15. So let's take a look at some of the others who, I think everybody expected to be doing better in these regards, whose strong leadership. Chris Christie's at 4%, Carly Fiorina at 3%, Jeb Bush at 2%. I mean, what do the folks sitting around the Jeb Bush table say to each other when they look at these numbers, Joe?
They've won. The only good news in all of this is that Trump and no one else is moving towards 50 on most or any of these measures. So, which is what's going to have to happen for somebody to actually get the nomination. I think there's clearly a whole bunch of room. I mean, if 30% feel that Trump is strong on leadership, and I agree that he exudes that to a lot of the GOP electorate, there's still room. Yeah. Time's running out, though, is the problem here. You have Iowa and New Hampshire coming up fast now in 60 days or so. So Jeb Bush, Christie, any of these other players, they've got to score in one of those states. I mean, New Hampshire's becoming a must-win for one of them.
I mean, scoring may mean, getting 10% at this point. So, I'd love for you to look forward, because when I look forward at this, potentially you've got Trump winning Iowa, winning New Hampshire, winning South Carolina. I mean, you only need to take 2 out of those 3 in the past to secure the nomination. But if he sticks around this 27-30% range, heading all the way towards the nomination, what does the Republican Party do then?
Well, look, I don't see Trump growing immediately. I mean, after some wins, yes, but I don't think it's likely to play out that way. I think Cruz could easily win Iowa right now. Remember, Huckabee and Santorum, both candidates who appealed to the evangelical Christian component of the Republican Party in Iowa, which is very strong there. Cruz is sort of set up. Carson was winning those people. Cruz seems to be getting them to come over to him as Carson falls. So we've got a long way to go, and I would not count Trump out from winning the nomination, but there are people who might rise fast enough to give him a challenge, whether that's Ted Cruz or Rubio or even somebody from way back. But the guys that are way back, and Carly, they're running out of time to move. Yeah, it's got to happen now.
Make a mark in New Hampshire, most likely, for most of them. Right. Joe, thank you so much. Good to see you.
Good to be with you, Martha.